Hello there, right here, and in today's video we will be looking at 13 cool tricks and secrets that have to do with candles. And let me know which one of these you did not know about. We're going to start out with the basics and then we're going to move on to the more complicated, all the while sprinkling in some cool tricks. Let's get started. Candles can be made using a string and a honeycomb. This produces a colorless candle, and with dyes you can attach these on to produce every color that Minecraft offers, which is 16 more candle types. I also designed a candle farm for unlimited amounts of them, linked down below. Candles can be placed down and be lit by using a flint and steel, which produces flame and smoke particles. Now you can place more candles onto the same spot just by clicking on the candle again, producing groups of 2, 3, as well as 4. And placing any more candles against the side will end up placing it into the next block. The first cool trick with candles is that depending on how many candles are in a group will produce different amounts of light. So with just a single candle it produces 3 lights, but if we light 2 candles, this actually produces more light, with a light level double that being 6. And if we just right click the pile again, we will get another candle added to the stack, and it will also be lit, producing a light level of 9. And lastly, if we have 4 candles in a group, it will be a light level of 12. Once candles are lit, you can put them out by using your use button. So like right clicking with your free hand, or right clicking with some item that doesn't have a use action. Candles can actually be placed onto any block that has a 2x2 pixel area in the center of the block, so it can work just fine on top of iron bars. The neat thing about this, as you add more candles to the stack, they can still hang over top of it, which can make some pretty cool looking candle holders. And this gives candles a super special size depending on how many you have in a group. 1 candle sits nice in the center, or 2 of them get rearranged around the center. 3 of them make another shape, and 4 of them even make a different shape. With different amounts makes different shapes, so if you stand on top of this, it is equivalent to standing on top of something like a daily censer, 4 layers of snow, a flower pot, a single sea pickle, the edge of a bale, which are all equivalent to something that is 6 pixels tall. And this is my world where I showcase all the different blocks with unique sizes. You can check it out in more detail with the world download in the description. But with different amounts in a stack also means if you press up against the side, it will give you different distances from the opposite side. And here I have all the different sizes from the side, from biggest all the way to smallest. And candles end up in these 3 rows right here, where a single candle is the same as like a iron bar or pane. And if you bump into these candles from one side, it's going to be just like bumping into a fence. But if you actually bump into the same candles from a different direction, they actually completely change and turn into something like a small wall. And this even gets stranger yet when you realize that a group of 3 candles is actually shorter in length than having just 2 candles. The next secret with candles is that rabbits will actually get stuck on them when they try to hop past them. This also happens with other small objects in Minecraft. With candles needing the center support, not all blocks can have candles directly placed on them, but it needs to be a block of full height that is supported in the center, like a glass pane. Soul Sand, which visually looks like a full block, even though the player sinks down inside of it, will still work because it just appears to be full. And there's quite a few different blocks that have this. And there's even some really strange ones, like here is a pointed dripstone that is upside down and actually has a requirement so you can place a candle on top of it. But you notice that the dripstone itself doesn't like being supported by a candle. So other types of blocks like slabs, you can't directly place candles on top of. Which gets us into the next part where you can remove the supporting block that holds up a candle, allowing it to float in midair. But you cannot add more candles to this batch until you have a supporting block underneath, and only then can you add more before removing that block. But these floating candles are stable and won't pop off. So you can create stacked candles like this, but you have to start at the top and then place your candles on support, remove blocks below it, and place in more candles until you got a stack of candles. The bottom side of a candle can also support other blocks, such as this lantern here, which can make some pretty cool looking things. If you're enjoying the video so far, make sure to leave a like as well as subscribe to my channel, as I discover tons of cool tricks while designing machines. When placing down candles, you can also choose to shift click up against the one placed down. So if I click normally, it's going to add one to it, but if I shift click, it's going to add it to the next door neighbor of this one, placing it over here, as long as there are some supporting blocks underneath. And these invisible looking blocks are called barrier blocks. Now when it comes to different ways to light candles, we can use flint and steel, but you can also use a bow with the flame enchantment on it, and hitting it with the arrow will actually ignite it. So if I pick up this arrow, you'll see that it's now lit. You can also directly use a fire charge on it just by right clicking to ignite it. And there's ways to do this automatically. Flint and steel inside of a dispenser, front of a candle, lights it. We also got fire charges pointing at the candle, and that will also light it. Shooting an arrow that goes through some fire source, which starts the arrow on fire, then hits some candles, has a chance of lighting it if it hits it properly. Let's go ahead and shoot some arrows over there and see if we can get one to light her up. And you can see these two got lit. So using this automation, you can do some pretty cool stuff like this, where you can have candles lit. But the next secret to do with candles is that any projectile on fire will ignite the candles. So if we just have snowballs in here, we can actually light this candle just by using snowballs. So we got snowballs inside and an unlit candle. And if I flick this switch, you'll see that the snowball hits the candles and actually ignites them. Who knew that you could take snowballs to light a candle? A lit candle doesn't do any damage if you stand on top of it, and will not go out if you try stomping on it. The next cool property about candles is that you can actually place them right beside a cactus. They won't actually break the cactus off. This is different than other types of blocks which the cactus doesn't like. Now when it comes to putting out candle flames, there's several other ways you can do it. You can also place water directly on it. This will not only remove the flame, but it also will waterlog it. And at this point you can't actually ignite it again until you remove the water. You can also use throwable water potions to splash the candle and put out the flame. Here we got a throwing potion, and you'll see that the flame is gone. And we can also use the lingering type of water ball potions. This also works. And it also does a bigger area. You can use automation to directly put water onto the candle, putting it out and waterlogging it. But throwing snowballs directly on them won't put them out, and by having them near fire or lava won't actually ignite them either. But they are pretty strong where they can hold back liquids such as lava. Also, doing any updates to the candle, like lighting it, can be detected by an observer or adding more candles to it, which would be cool for a secret entrance. But comparators don't work in reading any signals about them. You can also place them onto cake just by right-clicking it, it'll place it on top. But you can only place one candle on top, and right-clicking any more won't place them there. And the candle on top can be lit as well as extinguished. But as soon as you eat any part of the cake, the candle is going to pop off. The comparator output for a cake doesn't change at all if you add a candle. The next secret trick with these is that standing on top of a candle on a cake is actually the same height as all of these blocks, including a lectern and a brewer. Although candles can hold back liquids, they cannot be moved with pistons, they just pop off. And they can't be pulled or pushed using sticky pistons or slime blocks. You might have noticed that candles kind of act like turtle eggs, where you can shift click them, place them on the side, but unlike candles, turtle eggs can also be shift clicked to place them above without support. But they are similar where they can both make groups of 4. With the candle's small profile, any falling block will pop off on them. The last neat trick that you can do with candles is use a debug stick to make it so that they are lit as well as underwater. You can get a debug stick with the give command in Creative. And by left clicking, you can choose what you want to change. And if I change it over to waterlog and then I right click, these candles are in water, but if we look in here, we can see that they are still lit. You can also do this with commands, but this is normally not possible in survival. So many cool things to do with candles. Let me know what your guys' favorite was down in the comments. And tell me of any more that you know of. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like on it and let other Minecrafters know that RaisedWorks has tons of cool videos showing neat things about the game. I would like to thank you guys all for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye!